This is the last session of today and last session of talks for this conference. So I hope you're not all too tired. We'll be fine. We have 19 talks scheduled for today, that's quite a lot. So we're going to do it the same as yesterday. So that's 3 minutes each, and afterwards there's 1 minute for questions. For all the speakers, it's the same as yesterday. We have an iPad here with a timer, so you can see when your time is up. 3 minutes. Okay. First up is Paul Stevens, after that Philip, and after that Johannes.
Okay. Well, thank you. I just wanted to bore you a little bit with something I ran into over the last year. I was tasked with upgrading a Plum 2.5 site, which suffered from a severe data duplication. Basically, a lot of PDFs were uploaded into the site, and all these PDFs were workflowed into a bunch of subsites using a product I hope you never have to use, which was actually never released, called Plum multi-site. And these PDFs were workflowed into several languages per site. So you can imagine if you upload a PDF into the main site, this was copied sometimes over 20 times into several sites. And this led to severe performance issues in Plum 2.5, where the ZODB was growing dramatically. So I was tasked with upgrading it to 4.1, and having done that, I noticed that the blob storage was still, well, it was large. And having some experience with data deduplication, I thought I'd try my hand at a little script and seeing how much duplication was actually going on there and how much savage could be gained. So I ran a script, analyzed the content, built up a tree structure of cryptographic hash values, and basically built a bunch of hard links between similar content. And having done that, I noticed that, well, I can show you. This was done on the actual, on a development copy of the actual website, where the original blob storage was, well, almost 15 gigabytes of data. Analyzing it, compacting it, using hard links, as I said. The storage dropped down to just over 2 gigabytes. So this seems like a nice way to make the blob storage more compact, especially if you use a lot of copying. And I think this might even make some of the actions that users tend to do, like copying trees or moving trees, much faster. Of course, I haven't done any benchmarks on that at all. There is no product, there's just my little script that does a analysis and builds up a tree structure of hard links, just to demonstrate the potential for improvement I'm seeing here. So what needs to be done to make this into production, if ever, if possible? We need to patch ZODB, of course. There's just a couple of methods there that need to be fixed. And of course, we also have to watch out for external scripts that use similar tactics to, for instance, I learned, okay, thank you.
Any questions for Paul?
Oh, sure.
If you need any help, I'd be happy to help you with that patches. That's awesome.
Well, I was suspecting somebody would find this useful. We can talk later. Okay.
Run, Forrest, run.
Did you try the Git libraries to make your storage?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that, please?
With Git, you can make your storage instead of the plugins, and you can have versioned storage. Then you will be compatible with backup and also with iterate. that making versioning in Plum?
I'm sorry, I'm having a lot of difficulty getting the gist of your question.
Okay, we will talk.
We can talk about it after. Yeah.
Thank you. Next up is Philip, after that Johannes, and after that Liz.
Okay, my name is Phil Bauer, and I was in Dylan's talk this morning. It was excellent, and he told about the through the web story of Plone, how great it is and how much better it should be, and also about how to get new developers started into Plone. So there is Dexterity, yay, and the Diazo editor, which is also great, and there in the future might be a really usable Plone IDE. But still, the Diazo editor you can't edit templates. But when I digged in the past, I found something which I used for 2 trainings yet already, and it always worked. And it was written by David Glick, and it's the theme editor, and it's here installed. And I see it here. Maybe some people who have a long memory can remember it. It was frowned upon because it used jQuery UI, which is no longer frowned upon now. I don't really know why, I don't really care. So these are templates which used to live in the skin folders somewhere, and they can be edited, and this looks very much like the ZMI, which basically it is, in an iframe. But it also can edit all this stuff that it was in Portal View customizations. It is much better than the ZMI because it only shows stuff that is actually used, and it can export stuff. Actually, we fixed it, it works, it's an alpha release, beta release something, and it uses Templar for generating an egg. And we want to flip it to make it into Plone. This is here. And it's going to be a company-sponsored sprint. There's a company, it's not really huge, but since Liz wanted company-sponsored sprints, I'm going to do it, make it one. And we want to improve it and make it use ACE editor, and maybe even import and give the UI a lot of love and stuff. And so it may improve the or lessen the barrier for new developers. Well, you all guys do it in the file system anyway, so you won't need it, but the guys you're doing training with will need it, definitely. And since that's not the first product that I found that was really usable, that David wrote at some point in the past, I will propose a new process in the Plone development cycle. And so we automatically create a plip from every package that David releases. And once it's accepted, it will increase his Git tip by $50. And it will be called the Git plip Git tip. I had to write that down to make it work. Questions? No, thank you.
Next up is Johannes, after that Liz, and afterwards Lucas.
Okay, my name is Johannes Ragam. I'm the implementer of the Blownup Event blip, and I want to announce that I've made a beta version just now. The last one was created in March, and now we have Blownup Event beta 1. And sorry for the mess here. I want to give just a quick demo. It's a dangerous task, but I tried it several times before and it should work. Blownup Event can be installed on Plum 4.2 site. Please read the readme.rsd file provided, and there are all installation instructions. It's quite simple, but you have to at least set the time zone after installing, which I don't do now because I want to save time. I just create an event and give some information. We have a date picker and the occurrence definitions and time zones, as you can see. I just use the default occurrence with 10 occurrences every day. Save it, and it's in the calendar and in the event portlet. Yeah, please use it. Thank you.
Any questions for Johannes? No questions?
Question is, was the biggest bug still open?
Actually, look yourself at the GitHub issues Backtracker. I have annotated them with milestones and so, and there are some bugs open, but we use it in production, and two other sites also use it in production. So I think it's safe to call it a beta version. Just one more thing, thank you to all the contributors. There are really much contributors. Look at the docs contributors file.
Next up is Liz, afterward Lucas, and afterward Philip.
Okay. Since Liz has apparently signed up for a talk she didn't know anything about, I'll come up here and steal it. So one of the things I've been trying to do is get people to do the stuff I don't have time to do, because otherwise nothing gets done. And I need people to care about the things that I don't have time to care about, so stuff gets cared about. So I want to point out for your knowledge and joining, we have, what was I going to talk about?
If you run a team, can you guys all come up, the heads of teams, so that, because we know each other with our nicknames and we meet each other in person, but if you're head of a team, we want somebody to be able to come up to you and say, I can help. So looking at your face would be awesome. Yeah. So if you run a team, or you don't know if you do or not, can you come up?
Nathan Van Giem is heading up our UI efforts. And helping the framework team make sure that new clips don't suck in the UI aspects. Matthew Wilkes is heading up our security team, which you are not allowed to join.
But you can help us, you can help find problems.
Timo Stahlenwerk is our testing champion. We haven't found a cool name for his team yet, but he's handling our continuous integration and making sure that new stuff gets tested properly. Miko has just agreed to lead our new our reborn documentation team. And you, what do you do? Yes. This is Martin. He heads up the AI team. Yes. What? Yes, Martiar on IRC. He heads up the group that makes sure that all Plum servers keep running. No. He does stuff that I don't know about.
So we try and run as little services as possible and try to get everything run by other people, and I'm almost there now, but we have dev Plum.org is my responsibility, and if it sucks, tell Liz and she'll progress. Yeah, that's about it.
And Steve McMahon heads our installers team, who build the installers.
I just want to say, in all seriousness, about the security team, if you're the kind of person that reads through the hotfixes as soon as we issue them to find out what's been done, and you like to write things, then do come and find me. We could do with some help. Please, just don't assume it's someone else's job. We want to hear from you.
And keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut.
So yes, if you're looking for a way to get involved, these are the people to talk to.
Next up is Lucas, after that Philip, and after that Miko.
Hello everyone, my name is Lucas. I currently work for Teamwork. We're based in Bern, Switzerland. Today I'm going to talk about our product, FTW Tabbed View. The purpose of this project is that you can define a view and some subviews that then each one get displayed in a tab. So the source is on GitHub. It's been released to PyPy. It's quite stable. We use it in almost any of our projects. It integrates, or you can integrate, a couple of other products. For example, Collective.js XJS for displaying pretty fancy tables. It uses Collective Quick Upload if it's installed. And one other of our own products, which is called FTW Table. FTW Table is actually responsible for rendering content listing in table formats. The two are tied together. They can be used separately, but in most scenarios you use them together. A couple of the features, you can filter content listings pretty quickly. You can sort your tables dynamically on the client side. You can group different items in the content listing, manage your columns, move them around, hide some of them, display some others. There's built-in batching support for pagination. There's a pretty flexible source adapter concept. You can, for example, just use a catalog source, but you can just as well write an adapter for SQL Alchemy objects. You can do data transformations. For example, you get back a username, but what you actually want to display in the table is the full name, so you can write a helper that does this transformation, looking up the full name by the username, and lots of other features that I'm not going to mention here. So, for a quick demo. This is one of these views. Currently I'm on a context, but it can also be used on pretty much any context. In most cases, we want to have some sort of content listing rendered as a table, but for example, we also did a sharing tab, a read-only version of the sharing tab that just displays permissions, local roles, and stuff like that. Well, I'm done. questions?
Any questions?
Yeah.
Are the tabs that you create up here a content type?
No, just browser user the template. That's all. Oh, sure. No, you don't have to have an actual content type at all. The tabs are just a browser view and the template. That's all there is to it. Okay, thank you.
Next up is Philip, after that Nico, and after that Franco.
I'd like another project by David. No, just joking. Plum Conference 2012 is in the past, and I want to report on that because I've been promoting it last year in San Francisco, and it was a success. That was the website, and here are some pictures. We had 150 people, about 50% of them were new. Not new to Plum, but new to any Plum event. Many of them actually worked with Plum for a lot of years, professionally or privately or at their company, but they've never been part of the community. And there were also a lot of heavy users, universities, and so on. And you realize there's a difference between the German Plum Conference and the International Plum Conference, and that's intentional. We wanted to attract decision makers and people who are new to Plum, and the local event is exactly the thing to do that. So we had, I think, a great success and a lot of fun. And the question is, how can you do that for yourself and thus benefit to the whole Plum community? The way to do it is get your local user group drunk and make them say yes, except for yourself. You have to say no, so you can later tell them, I told you so. But that way they are forced to do all the work. And we have also some really productive ideas. Do a sprint. We did a sprint launch because that's going to attract people who don't speak the local language, and they've been sprinting the whole week, actually, including the conference sprint. So thanks all the guys who came there and sprinted. That was really awesome. And Plum API was one thing that came out of it. And so have a party at the first day so that people who are new to Plum, and that's a lot there, get to know each other. So next day they're all on the very colloquial basis. Increase marketing by, I don't know, 1,000%. Maybe the Plum conference is, everybody who knows Plum knows when the Plum conference is, but the local Plum event, and to attract new developers, media, whatever, you have to spend a lot of money and put a lot of effort into marketing. And if you succeed so, you'll have a lot of benefits for the Plum community. One will be visibility, local visibility. New community members. We gained so many contributors agreements and people who said, oh, I want to have my own user group and whatever. It was really, really good. You can have a great party and great experiences. I wrote the largest tip ever in my life. I'm not going to say how much it was, but it was really, really big. And talking about money, I'm going to give a virtual check. There's a lot of design went into this here, to the Plum Foundation. Someone from the board here? Anyone from the board? No one. Here. Here. If you are unsure whether you can pull something like this off, talk to me. I'll convince you.
Next up is Miko, after that Franco, and after that Yuka.
Okay, my name is Mikko, and I'm talking about some Plum packages I have created for you. And I have not had a beer for 8 hours, so I'm a little angry. So the first Plone package is called Visual Title, which allows you to add a new title for Plone, so that you can have a different title in navigation and on the page, because sometimes the page title doesn't fit into navigation. The second package is called Image Portlet. It allows you to add images to the Plone site so that you can decorate it nicely, and it's very easy to use. You can have even carousel and 4 different images and the text on the top of images and so on. Then the next package is called S'il vous plaît, which is French. And it actually allows you to edit Plone sites so that you can understand what the fuck you are doing there. And also shows you all the untranslated items you have on your site, so you can go there and click and translate it yourself. And then we have a package called Flow Mobile, which is a new mobile solution for Plone based on the latest inventions of the Steve Jobs. So you can try it on these 2 sites, because I don't have the time to talk how it works. I can just say it's very, very simple, and you can hack it yourself. It's much more simple than what we have done this far. And then we also have a bot, which helps you in Skype, because I can put all the things happening in my world to the one Skype window, and I can just happen when it scrolls and my life goes on. So that was about that. Thank you.
Next up is Franco, after that Yuka, and after that Eriko.
Okay, does anybody knows what that is? A picture, okay, no. According to my Google search, there are a bunch of Mayan symbols. And according to a bunch of people that say that they understand that, the world is going to end December 21st, right? So, this is a train called the End of the World train. That is, as you can see, the Argentinian flag. It's in the most southern city in the world called Ushuaia. It's actually the end of the world, right? So I believe it was all an idea that the best we can do to wait for the end of the world to happen is be at the end of the world sprinting, in the end of the world sprint, right? So we have no idea what to sprint about. We haven't made all the plans yet. We are just, what that? Yeah, I know. We can figure something out. So you are all invited. We can talk together later about ideas what to sprint on, and that's it. And what? Questions? What's that?
How long does it take to get there?
How long what? No, you need to take a plane, obviously. I don't know.
Is it possible to fly from Falklands?
I have absolutely no idea what Falklands mean. Anything else?
Why do you think you decided to use that end of the world, not the one in Norway?
What?
There's an end of the world in Norway as well. Were you not tempted by the cold?
I don't understand you.
He says there's an end of the world in Norway as well, all the way north. So why not use that one?
Because the end is usually in the bottom.
Is
that a good answer? Okay. Okay.
Next up is Rika, after that Enrico, and after that Kelvin.
Yeah. Get this minimized.
Okay, hello. I'm going to introduce you a couple of tools we are using to keep our heads sane, because sometimes running several build-outs and keeping track of what you have in there is impossible. So I have created one pyramid application called Whiskers, and basically it is collecting all the stuff, all the packages you use in build-outs. You also need a second package, or it is actually a build-out extension called build-out.sendPacketVersions, which does the actual job. So I'm going to show you a demo. I hope it works. Okay, so now I'm running build-out. And hopefully, okay, there was some traffic. So it sent the data from the build-out to the Whiskers server. And it should appear in here. Yes, there is our build-out. And you can see all the packages and versions that this build-out is using. And I created this because sometimes you get some brown pack releases, or someone changes their API without introducing or warning you. Good example. Maybe you all suffered from this. So basically you can check which sites are using the old release of this package and update them. If you have hundreds of build-outs, this helps you a lot. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Would it be possible, like, if you're working in, say, a hosting environment where you've got bunches and bunches of build-outs, maybe you're using a cache, an egg cache, to keep track of, to keep you from having to download all the packages every time you release a new site.
Yeah.
Could you sort of reverse use this to finger which packages are actually being used inside your cache and delete ones that aren't, so you could maintain the cache and clear it out?
No, I think, yeah, it would need some work, but you could do it. This is still work in progress, and I'm going to improve this all the time. Okay. But basically, every data you can get with build-out, ZC build-out, you can put in here. Cool. It's JSON, so you can just transfer it.
This is just a kernel of an idea for Yuka, but we could have like a community version of this or something that would collect versions of packages that were successfully used with other packages, maybe something like that, I don't know. And then have some way to browse and see what sorts of build-outs were successful with that package. I don't know, it's just the start of an idea, but
Hello, I'm here representing my boss, Andrea Nogueira. Please raise your hand. He's shy to be here, so he said to me, I need to come here or I'll not be paid. We are trying to change the way we collaborate. This is something new, something amazing that came from the very, very heart of Brazil, you know, where you find all those trees, and I'm trying to make you believe there's no trees at all in São Paulo. We live there, we love the place, good Japanese food, and even better churrascarias. Isn't that correct? Yes. You know, it's still cool. Solution is desk surfing. You know, for you guys from Europe or the US, things are easier. You meet each other like every other day. At least people told me there's parties everywhere, like in Barcelona and stuff, cool places. But we really need you because, like a very good friend of mine usually say, we are lonely. And otherwise we need to drink, and we need to find a family for, no, sorry. Actually, what we want is, we have this place, is a Plum core developer desk. Actually, if you're not a core developer, go there. We make you sign the agreement and help us in some way. If you need to travel to São Paulo, we have this place for you. Actually, Andreas Eider was asking how much does it take to fly to Ushuaia. It takes a lot of time, really, even from São Paulo. So come to South America, stop one day in São Paulo, we have some caipirinhas, and then we fly there. And this was approved by our most reliable members in the community. Okay, and now is the not censor version, because there's one a little bit spicy. And most important, keep calm and Plum in Brazil. We are going to see each other a lot of times there. But if you need a place to crash in São Paulo, if you need a place to crash in Brazil, please look for us. We can kind of help you guys. Just a question, David Lim is here? This guy lives in a very nice city on a beach, so if you need a place to go to run away from the winter, go there. Also, Huda, raise your hand. Another great place, if you want to party, go there. And Alessandro, you are invited. Okay, we need you there. Thank you. Questions? As big as you want, but you know, size doesn't matter. Actually, our local guy wants to explain something, but of course, Nates have a priority.
A very important question. How fast is the internet?
Actually, at the time, you know, Hector was downloading some porn, but this time we fixed that. Actually, porn for him is kind of economic data and predicting the economic collapse, stuff like that.
I have a question. Why you didn't mention Shiru?
No, actually, because Shiru is going to have a little kid, and we are not willing to send people there to bother him. You know, and Shiru is kind of a very angry guy, and I didn't ask in advance, so it's kind of...
You keep saying if you need to crash, but what if my software doesn't crash? What do I do then?
No, actually, you know, we have some very good users like my son. He'll type random stuff and software crashes every time, especially when you really need to make a payment or something like that.
So you can crash for us, basically?
Yes, of course. It's guaranteed. Anything else? Any doubts, André Nogueira can try to convince you guys. And I hope to see you in Brazil next year, or in some cases like Mikos in a few hours. We have a family for him. He's very happy. That's why he is now taking care of documentations. Thank you, guys.
We have a desk in Fortville as well, if you guys are interested in coming to Fortville. Okay.
Next up is Kelvin, after that Radek, and after that Johannes.
So I was going to give you guys a presentation today about how not to hit the dismiss button on your alarm clock, but unfortunately I hit the dismiss button on my alarm clock twice. So I'm going to give you my 6 tips in 3 minutes and see how we get through all this real quickly. We do love Plone, and we want to make sure we have a good Plone experience for all those who are going to use Plone. So Plone does all these kinds of things for us. You can read the screen, that's all wonderful. But we sleep soundly at night because of Plone. This is what we do. But number 1, use APIs versus embedded iframes. I mean, except if you're doing like iframe work like Rock does. But in this case, it's good for SEO. It just doesn't look bolted on. It looks very professional. In this case, how many times have you seen a crazy URL like that that isn't actually part of their own site? So the content isn't being considered for the SEO. In this case, we integrated like this external library. All the content lives in the site, searchable in the site, all part of Google. That's some kind of demo. We got a WordPress blog. The content inside the, actually I'll go through this demo. That one actually is coming right out of WordPress into Plone itself, so you can see the things seamlessly from one to the other. We also have now, number 2, this is a very important one, criteria for evaluating your options. Watch out for communities that don't look very healthy. Things might be going wrong there. I don't know if you noticed the URL bar up there, but that's that one's Plone for Artists spam takeover. We've got mailing list neglect. Anyone home, what's going on here, when was the last release, to be announced releases, inactive projects. Hostile takeovers by Oracle generally don't mean good things for open source projects, so this applies not only to Plone, but any other projects you might be evaluating. There is hope. That one got restarted as OpenAM. Now, speaking of OpenAM, leveraging single sign-on and web single sign-ons, we can use things like OpenID very effectively, but when you're evaluating an OpenID solution, there are very few to choose from, and not all of them are very actively developed. This is another demo where we integrated with Moin, Vanilla, and Plone with OpenID with all single sign-on, so you sign on once, you're inside the site, and it looks all the same across all of it. Supercharge your site with Solar. The big benefit here I see is, not being Java-based of course, but the fact that it doesn't depend on Plone. You pass in queries directly through Solar and get back actual access to the total responses, and you can actually have spell checking. It reduces the size of your catalog because you can actually remove the full text indexing out of your catalog. Another demo. And you can have external content easily indexed by Solar. We used Moin. They have an event system in Moin. We basically tell it to call this thing inside of Zope to feed it what needs to be indexed by Solar, and so it's all aware, all works together. Solar tips. Tip number 5, beware of over-customization. Bad things can happen when you're using things that you shouldn't be using them. And then testing. Make sure you have got good testing in place so that you know what happens when you release the next versions of your code. Thank you very much. 1 second. Yeah, there we go. Any questions? I know you guys got all of that, right? Okay. Oh, and as a bonus, I will be recording my talk from this morning and putting it online so you guys can still see it. And I apologize.
Next up is Radek. After that, Johannes, and the last one for today is Mauricio.
Okay,
So maybe I will show my screenshots for people who are interested. I would like to tell you about a small add-on product that we prepared for Plum, which may be useful also for you. What does it do? It transforms the content of the page to a grayscale palette of colors. And this was developed for our users, Polish users' requirement, because in Poland there is a habit of changing the site layouts after the president announces the national mourning day after some tragedy. The main portals, the main news portals, and government sites and bank sites changes the layout of their sites to grayscale, and there were some possible solutions to do it. Like, for example, there is a filter attribute in CSS, but it is supported only by Internet Explorer. There was also a solution with JavaScript, but rendering the whole site on the client side was extremely slow. So what we prepared is a product for Plum that transforms the layout of the page on the fly. The images are cached in file storage, so they should be transformed only once. And the product is accessible on the GitHub. You can take a look how it works, and if someone is interested, I can show him after the presentation that it really works. Okay, thank you. Okay, do you have any questions? Yes?
Is there any reason you did this directly inside of Plum instead of replicating a Whiskey layout? I know there are some examples like post.plt that do image changing.
Yes, perhaps the Whiskey middleware would be a better solution for a Whiskey stack, but in our case we use a hook into publisher function and changes the response, transform the response on the fly after making transforms on the HTML and images and other resources.
Same sort of thing as the other. Sounds good.
Okay. Sorry. It is called stxnext.grayscale. Okay, thank you very much.
And after that, Mauricio.
Okay. I want to talk about Amplify CC, which is a prototype of a social community portal. But it's just a prototype, it's not so far advanced, but it should replace one time a local social community, which is based on Post.New. And the platform is 10 years old, and we have there the situation that we have articles, events, forum threads, and etc. as different content types, a lot of different content types, and most of them are basically same. And from the user perspective, one wants just add something and maybe decide later what if it's a special content type like an event or so. So we reduced it to just one, and we are using dexterity behaviors, And thanks to JC Brand, I've read his blog entry, we use instant behavior. So dexterity behaviors are annotated to an instance instead of the class. Yeah, and I give a short demo. This is the prototype with 50,000 elements from the old site imported, with 7,000 events and so. And we are using, now if I click reply, then I get a form which is based on Yaffoville. Then I can type in some information and maybe a link. This is what you see is HTML5 editor, which was built for Xing, and it has a good link parsing, and we hook in there to ask the embed service for information, and the net is so slow, so it doesn't work at the moment. We have tags and so. I can say it belongs to the events, and then it worked actually. And I can say here that this content type is an event, and save it. Yeah, and you see that the event information is annotated, and I can remove that again if I think I should do a separate entry for it. And the point is that I really like the concept of having just one content type for everything, because it's just possible with that. Yeah, thank you. I think I will sprint on the weekends together with the Clone Social guys, because they've done a really good job, and I want to factor out some things and building it up. Thank you.
Any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
So I've got the honor for the last lightning talk, and I would love to thank you all for being here. And I'd love also to share you a new idea, which is not this one, but the fact that we have something that at a conference like this you can see very clearly. There is something that I call a Plum Nation, okay? Native English speaker perhaps is not that easy to understand, but if you are in a place like Italy, probably you will come up to a place like this as a first entry point. But if you're not in Italy and you're in Brazil, which is so famous this time, for the next conference probably will be there, I hope so for them. You can get there through this site, or through this site if you are in France, or this one if you are in Netherlands, right? This is a new site made by Daniel de l'Aquila and his friends, and this is for Spanish-speaking people, or this is for Poland. This is for the German-speaking people. And you know what? This is for Japan people. Where is Manabu? Thank you for this. Yeah, so what we were feeling like missing is that someone reaching this point cannot get how this community is working. But if you add something easy, like that top bar over there, it can be very easy to recognize this. And so that you can just move very easily to understand that you can go to Spain, or you can go, in the world wherever you want, in Netherlands, or you can go, I don't know, okay, let's go to Brazil for meeting with Enrico and his friends, right? So thank you for being here.
Thank you. That was it for the lightning talks. Marta wants something to say, I think.
From yesterday evening, there's still a pair of pants searching in order. Is that yours? Awesome, great.
Hi guys. I hope you enjoyed. And thank you. Okay, great. That was my whole presentation. I would like to thank some people. First, our gold sponsors. Sponsors were very important this year. We had many, so they did a great job. Thank you for all. We had three gold sponsors: Goldmund, Wildebeest Wunderliebe, Zest Software, and Syslab. Thank you. Then there were several silver sponsors. Yeah, thank you also. It's very easy. There are some bronze sponsors. Then the personal sponsors, we had a great idea with the tag cloud, and we think it's pretty cool. There were lots of you willing to donate some extra, and we raised quite a lot of money that way, and that's why we're having a great party. Thank you. Then I'd like to thank three supporting sponsors in a quite a different way. Rebel X, and in particular Rita. I don't know if she's here. I'd like to see you on the stage, please. She was responsible for all the design, the logo, the badges, the banners, the posters, everything. She did it for free, so it was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Then I'd like to see Guido Stevens. He has a great idea of making a Plone more show products from Plone and people who are working with Plone, and put them in the spotlights. And he was very active with the Plone Awards, and I would like to thank Guido as well. Come on the stage, please. Then we had Win Williams. I don't know if he's still asleep. He's here? Yes, no, yes, yes, he's here. He was responsible for the internet, and I think it was great. When do you like to be on the stage or not? Does Win likes to be on the stage? No, he's sitting down and things. Okay, thank you. You bring the beer. He would like that. It's not his first. Then I would like applause for the muses, the people who worked for the catering and all the other people surrounding us, helping us change settings and setting up training sessions. And the musicians did a great job, I think. They deserve applause. And then it's very easy. Thank you. You were great, and I hope you really enjoyed. We did. The whole team. Yeah, we think it's a great thing to do. Yeah. So that was it for the conference. We will be having dinner at 6. I don't know what time it is. Now at the Park Hall. I hope you probably know right now where the Park Hall is. It's up one stair. The party will be in the hangout, and we'll start at 8:30 after the dinner. And please bring your badge if you have someone you would like to join us. There are still tickets. You get a badge. If you don't have a badge, our security guy will ask you for it. And if you don't have it, he will kick you. Thank you for the security.